And we are back. NFL Week 4 predictions. To recap last week, I ended up going a whopping 11-5, putting my season total to 40-8, also getting my lock of the week right, putting that to 3-0. In case you're curious, the games I got wrong were the Texans Jaguars, the Rams Eagles, Steelers Patriots, Packers Browns, and Broncos Chargers. And I picked the Kansas City Chiefs as my lock of the week, and they ended up beating the Giants. Quickly going into Thursday Night Football, September 25th, 8:15 p.m. All games are in Eastern Standard Time. We have the 2-1 Seahawks versus the 2-0 Cardinals, a little division game. Both these teams doing actually surprisingly well compared to how I thought they'd do. I thought the Seahawks would struggle early, and I thought the Cardinals would struggle early. Granted, Cardinals haven't looked the greatest, but they're 2-1, so the Cardinals actually just lost to the 49ers while the Seahawks had a dominant win over the Saints. I think the Seahawks are going to ride that momentum against the Saints, and I think they're going to win this one, although it should be a really good Thursday night game, I'm hoping. Moving on to our international game, 9:30 a.m., we have the Vikings and Steelers, both 2-1, both coming off of wins. The Vikings over the Bengals in dominant fashion, while the Steelers, they struggled to get the win over the Patriots, but, a few things went their way, and they got the win. I think the Steelers are going to win this one. I think the Vikings are really going to be on that, high and mighty game over the Bengals, and I think they're going to lose a very winnable game against the Steelers. Don't ask me how. I just think the Vikings are going to have a slip-up. Moving on to our 1 o'clock slate, we got the 2-1 Commanders coming off of a dominant win over the Raiders, and we have the 1-2 Falcons coming off of a 30-0 loss to the Panthers. Yeah, not sure who's going to be starting this game. I know Michael Penix got benched last game. Whether that's going to be something that continues into this week or not, I don't know. Regardless of who quarterbacks either team, because I know Jayden Daniels missed last week, could miss this one, I'm picking the Commanders. They're just significantly better. 3-0 Chargers, 0-3 Giants. The Chargers coming off of their third division win in 3 weeks. This one over the Broncos, while the Giants coming off of, we mentioned them playing the Chiefs, and we know how that one went. They actually held in there for a good amount, but weren't able to pull through. Even though the Giants have announced that Jackson Dart is going to be this week's starter, already benching Russell Wilson, I think I'm going with the Chargers here. It's just too much to ask for him to go against one of the top teams in the league and expect a win. Titans and Texans, one of these teams needs a win, both 0-3. The Titans ended up losing to the Colts, while the Texans ended up losing to the Jaguars. I'm taking the Texans. If the Texans fall to 0-4 this way, it'd be so funny, but I just don't see that happening. I think they're too good to be that bad. Meanwhile, the Titans, I think, are just generally bad. Eagles, Buccaneers, this should be a good one. Both 3-0. One of them's got to lose, barring a tie. The Eagles coming off of a blocked field goal win over the Rams. I know they won by 7. They returned that kick for 6. And then the Buccaneers coming off of a choke job come from behind win over the Jets. They were up going into the 4th. They were down with less than a minute to go or something like that, and then they kicked the game-winning field goal. I'm going to take the Eagles here. The Buccaneers have just had so many close calls. I mean, their luck could continue, but I just don't see that happening against a team like the Eagles. Panthers, Patriots, both 1-2. Panthers finally got a much-needed win over the Falcons, while the Patriots looked like they were going to win last week's game against the Steelers, but fell just short in the end. I'm going to go with the Patriots, though. I think they're going to get, the win that they should have had last week. And for the Panthers, I think, going to be the same thing as the Vikings. Are going to ride that high and mighty win and just lose this one. Saints and Bills. Saints 0-3. They ended up benching Spencer Rattler. It's the same thing as the Falcons. I don't know who they're going to roll with this weweek. Meanwhile, the Bills 3-0 coming off of a good win over the Dolphins. Wasn't great in their standards. It's way too close for comfort, but they were able to win it. I'm obviously going to take the Bills here. So much so that they are my lock of the week. You heard that right. For those of you who don't know, I'll explain it every episode, I guess. Every week, there's a lock of the week. I pick one team only to win their game. If they win, great. If not, then it's basically the Eliminated Challenge or Survivor, or whatever you call it. Except for me, there is no losing. It's just you get the game right, you get the game wrong. Works the same way, though, where I'm only allowed to pick each team once. So, yeah, give me the Bills. Browns and Lions, our final 1 o'clock game. Browns 1-2 coming off of an upset over the Packers, while the Lions 2-1 coming off of a very good win over the Ravens, one where they kind of controlled the game most of the time. I'm going to take the Lions here. I don't see the Browns walking into back-to-back wins, and I don't see the Lions also falling victim to a trap game, especially to the same team as the Packers did. Jaguars and 49ers 4-5. Jaguars 2-1 coming off of a win over the Texans, while the 49ers 3-0. They obviously won. They haven't lost yet over the Cardinals game-winning kick. I'm going to take the Jaguars here. I think the 49ers are getting a bit too injured for me to be comfortable with. Yes, even though they have amazing depth and amazing coaching, I think the Jaguars just are going to, need a win a bit more here. They're trying to compete, obviously, with the Colts for the division. I think they're going to get the win here, and that'll greatly help them. Speaking of Colts, 3-0 Colts, 2-1 Rams. The Colts, obviously, they won against the Titans, while the Rams, we mentioned, lost by a game-blocked go-ahead field goal against the Eagles. I'm going to take the Rams here. I think this is going to be another insane game. The Rams, I just don't see them losing back-to-back, especially after barely losing to the Eagles. I think they're going to potentially murder the Colts. I see the Colts actually struggling in this one. I don't think this one's actually going to be as good as people are hoping it is on paper. Bears and Raiders. Bears 1-2 coming off of a win over the Cowboys, a good one in fact. Raiders 1-2 coming off of a bad loss over the Commanders. I'm taking the Bears here. I think the Bears are going to ride that momentum. I think the Cowboys are a better team. I don't see why they're going to lose this one, unless the Raiders, pull their week 1 stops, but we haven't seen that yet. So, Ravens Chiefs, both 1-2, 3 weeks into the season. That's concerning. Both with good close games that they've lost as well. Ravens losing to the Lions in a 1-score game, while the Chiefs, they got their first one over the Giants, but they've lost to the Chargers and the Eagles, both 3-0. I'm going to take the Ravens here. The Ravens have just looked significantly better than the Chiefs. Yeah. It's going to be a good one, though. We saw it last year, week 1. I think it's going to be a similar result, but I think this one's going to be in the Ravens' favor. Sunday Night Football, we got the 2-1 Packers versus the 1-2 Cowboys. The Packers coming off of a surprising loss to the Browns, 13-10, where, that was just not fun to watch, unless you're a big defensive guy. And then the Cowboys, they lost to the Bears. I think the Packers are going to win this one in Micah's return. The Browns, I keep talking about them. The Cowboys, I think, are going to miss CeeDee Lamb a significant amount, and I think ultimately it's going to be the Packers who win this one, I think, simply because of their defense. Moving on to Monday night, we got 2 of them. Jets, Dolphins, 7-15, both 0-3, both got to get a win. Both had heartbreaking losses. The Dolphins turned the ball over late in the fourth quarter where they were driving, could have tied it with the Bills, but they didn't. Jets come from behind to lead, but the Buccaneers kick a game-winning field goal as time expires. I'm taking the Dolphins here. If the Jets didn't luck into that comeback, it would have been a blowout. So, yeah, give me the Dolphins. And then Bengals, Broncos. Bengals 2-1, Broncos 1-2. Bengals got absolutely destroyed by the Vikings, while the Broncos choked against the Chargers. I wouldn't say choked. It was a close game. Unfortunately for the Broncos, who were leading pretty much the whole time, the Chargers were able to sneak it out at the end. I'm taking the Broncos here. With how bad the Bengals looked and how good the Broncos looked, I just don't see the Broncos starting the season 1-3. So, yeah, give me the Broncos. To quickly recap my picks, we have the Seahawks, Steelers, Commanders, Chargers, Texans, Eagles, Patriots, Bills, Lions, Jaguars, Rams, Bears, Ravens, Packers, Dolphins, and Broncos all winning, with the Bills being my lock of the week. If I didn't say your team name, it means they're losing their game. We still don't have any bye weeks. Those start next week, however. And in case you're curious about how the playoff picture is looking, no teams have obviously clinched or been eliminated. It's only 3 weeks in. But the Chargers and Eagles currently hold the 1 seeds. They would get the first round bye. Colts and 49ers hold the 2 seeds. Raiders, Seahawks with the 7. Bills and Buccaneers with the 3 seeds. Jaguars and Vikings with the 6 seeds. 4 seeds go to Bengals and Packers. 5 seeds go to Steelers and Cardinals, which is crazy. When you look, there are 6 undefeated teams left, 3 from each But the Raiders at the 7 seed are actually 1-2, so really good job by them. While the Rams, who are 2-1, the Lions, who are 2-1, they both aren't in the playoffs currently due to the conference. So NFC already looking like the better conference, but we'll see how it plays later on. That is going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I did. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.